All right, y'all. I'm super pregnant. I could have this baby any day. My cat's meowing. My family's in the other room making a bed set. And I'm making fresh milled flour hamburger buns. Yeah. For the first time, I have no idea what I'm doing. It says knead the bread until it's elastic. Does that mean this? I don't know. I better ask Christian. Okay, so he's saying do it more. I'm like, I don't know. I make sourdough. It's totally different. But I wanted to come on here and share. First of all, why is it weird to have the belly out, you know? So I'm kind of just pushing myself to an edge. This is how I want to dress. It's like 82 fucking degrees. These are the only shorts that fit. Anyways, let's cut to the chase. It is springtime here in Colorado, the Front Range. Kitty wants to go outside, but it's almost evening, so he will be in for the night. Little Bjorn. And I want to talk to you guys about spring plants. I usually always do an in-person spring plant class. And you know what? This baby's due any fucking day, so that ain't gonna happen this year. But I've still been making all of the things that... Is this elastic? I think we're getting there. I've still been making all of the spring goodies, the spring wild foods that I make every year in this class that I usually host. If you're local to Colorado, I have some really beautiful friends that are hosting spring plant classes featuring wild foods and medicines. And so one of the things I love about, I think this is getting there. I want to add water, but you know how it is with baking. You're like not supposed to break the rules. Anywho, the fun thing about spring medicines, for me, baby, it's all centered around wild foods, okay? We're talking yellow dock, we're talking violets, we're talking nettles, we're talking dandelions, cleavers, right? And you can make these into medicines, like what we would think of with like tinctures and vinegars, and that's really fun. But the things I really love the most are the foods. So what have I been making? Let's start with the violets, okay? Violets, all of these things for spring plants are gonna be designed to wake up your body, get things moving again, get things grooving, get things flowing. And then if you think about that energetically too, that's what we need, right? Energetically, how do we wake up? How do we get things moving? How do we get things back in the flow after slowing down and being really like rooted and anchored and underground for the winter? So all of these things are physical as well as energetic, spiritual support for this time of year. So violets are really beautiful. Everything's going to be high in vitamins. Springtime's all about replenishing, bringing back the vitamins and minerals that we like didn't have access to during the long winter. Okay. All right. What is this elastic? I'm going to go ask Christian again. Okay. Christian says need it more. I really want to add water to this. Feel free to comment if y'all are bakers. Springtime, let's get it moving, right? We need our lymphatic system to move. We need our liver to be able to move, our kidneys. And so a lot of it is like flushing things out, which is something to know when you start to eat wild foods, when you start to work with spring medicines, okay? Because a lot of times your body will crave it. Once you start to eat it, you'll be like, I can't control myself, because it just tastes so good and your body is being so nourished in a way where like you've never been nourished before. If you have never eaten wild foods, it won't even make sense to you what's happening. So you'll crave it. And then it's very common that you will, you know, kind of like overdo it. Or I wouldn't even say overdo it, but have a normal body reaction, which would include potentially having loose stool and diarrhea. And again, that's because you're being nourished in ways that you never have before. And your body's gonna like freak the fuck out in a good way. So I do like to say like, yeah, it doesn't hurt to like start slow, see how your body responds, eat more the next day. Yeah, so anyways, coming back to it, the violets. Violets are such good spirit medicine. They're really great for grief. That's kind of a theme with the spring foods, the spring plants. You can't really like leave one season without working with grief, right? And spring is such a transitionary season, coming out of winter, coming out of stillness, waking back up again, shaking things off. You're gonna need to have grief come up. Like, it's not just all joy. Grief comes up as we go through transitions and as we shift. It's just natural. So inherently there's a lot in spring of like life and death and grief allies. So violets are a really great ally for grief. They're great for the lymphatic system.
I need vanilla.
Vanilla? The bunny or?
The bunny.
Oh, she's right there, but I've got doughy hands.
Here you go.
Vanilla. So, violets are also fairy spirit medicine. So, they say that violets are some of the first flowers. They are. And they welcome the fairies up above ground again. Okay, I think that's good. I don't want to over knead this. I've heard that that's a thing too. Okay, this is such a funny process for me. So, I think I just broke the rule because you're supposed to like flour the dough, but I wanted to wet it. It's so dry here in Colorado, what I'm gonna do, you know? So, the violets are the flowers that welcome the fairies back up above the ground after they've been retreated under the earth all winter. The flowers are the only flower that I know of that is for pure celebration, meaning they do not flower. This first purple flower, I should be more specific, is not their flower of reproduction. That is their flower of celebration. So, not that you ever want to take all of anything, but hypothetically reproductive wise, that could happen with sweet violets that have the purple flowers, because the purple ones that are the first ones to come up in spring are not going to produce seeds. They have a white flower that comes up later in the season in the summertime underneath the leaves, and that is the one that produces seeds. Okay. Also, violets are very good at reproducing just through throwing off little shoots that drop roots down. That's how most of mine have grown and spread. So, I love, some of my favorite things to do with violets are make violet honey with the flowers. Adding lemon in with that is really nice, either lemon juice or lemon zest. I love to make breast or lymphatic oil infused with violet leaves. And that one is really nice as a breast oil. It's really supportive for the lymphatic system. How we doing here? Got any creases and stuff? Okay. And what else have I been doing this year? You can eat the whole aerial parts, the leaf, the flower are all edible, so you can use it in salads. The flowers are so nice. One of the coolest things about the flowers for me is that they have such a strong flavor that you can put like 1 to 3 violet flowers in a jar of water, like a quart jar of water, and let it sit and infuse for like not even that long. And the whole thing will taste like violets. So that's pretty miraculous, because a lot of plants, you need like a lot of plant material to actually get the flavor infused, or so we think. Be worth an experiment. Violet water, violet honey, violet maple syrup is one of the things that my teacher taught me is great for children with nightmares or bad dreams. Violet syrup, is that what I said? Yeah. So maple syrup infused with violets and violet leaves. I usually do a combination. You need to keep this in the fridge though, because I did have one go moldy. And you know, the leaves of violets are mucilaginous, so they help bring mucilage into the mucous membranes in your body, which is super helpful and super good. But that does mean that they hold a little bit more water than other plants. So it's really good to wilt or dry the leaves before infusing them into an oil. Although I have seen really reputable people that I trust making violet infused oil with fresh leaves, which I've been curious about, but I still wilt them. They don't have to be fully dried, but at least a little wilt is helpful. And I do, and so then with the violet syrup for children's bad dreams or nightmares, I do keep it in the fridge. I don't wilt them because it feels like the magic just needs to go right in there fresh, but I will keep it in the fridge. That's all that's coming into my mind for violet recipes right now. There's plenty more. There's so many more in the world. But we'll just stop there for that. Who's next? I'll just go around visualizing my old garden where I got all these plants from before we moved. Days later, not even days later, like literally the day we moved, I harvested. Luckily the violets had flowered. Usually they don't this early. We're like about a month early in Colorado this year, which is part of the fun, is that you never know the cycle of the plants. Okay, let's talk about dandelions. Dandelions are a powerhouse of vitamins and minerals. They have different attributes in the spring versus the fall. They'll be much more stimulating in the spring because, again, that's the energy. We're coming back up to the surface. We're rising back up, coming back to life. In the fall, they'll have more starches and help you to kind of like gather everything that you need to then go into your winter hibernation. And in the spring, it's like, boom, action. Let's bring movement. Let's bring vitality. Let's get that flow going again. You can literally eat dandelions as a multivitamin. Ways that I do this, the whole plant is edible, root to shoot. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, root to shoot, root, leaves, flowers, stems, buds, love it all. A great way to have a multivitamin is to infuse it into a vinegar. I like to use living, live apple cider vinegar, chop the whole plant up, get in that vinegar, let it sit for 6 weeks, strain it out, you got a multivitamin right there. Dandelion fritters are great if you have a bunch of flowers going on. I like to make flower honey, picking all the petals off. I like to make dandelion fritters. I'm just gonna list a bunch of things and then I can answer any recipe things in the comments. Maybe I'll make a PDF, you know, after I have this baby and get my life together. That's a joke. And my big thing though with the dandelions that I crave every year and that I've already made and eaten a whole batch of is Dandelion Italiano. It's essentially marinated, steamed dandelion leaves. It's insane. It's one of those things that I think about and I'm just like, I don't know, like it doesn't even like taste that good conventionally, but like it does. It does. It tastes fucking amazing. But like, you know, people will make like this and that, like lilac donuts, like things that just seem a lot more impressive. And this is the one that I crave nonstop. I made a whole batch. It's already pretty much gone. I've been eating it every day on this little salad that I've made, a sandwich that I've made with herbal goat cheese and the Dandy Italiano and goat cheese. Oh my God. This is what happens when you're so pregnant. Turkey on homemade sourdough. It's really, really good. The Dandy Italiano is so good. So pretty much okay, let it be known that anytime I'm talking about plants, you should make sure that they are coming from a place that is not sprayed. It's organic, it's wild, it's not been sprayed for I wouldn't go near an area that's been sprayed for, it needs to be clean for I don't know, at least 3 years, if not 5 or 7. The earth needs to process that shit out. So really make sure, just because dandelions are coming up does not mean it's not sprayed. And I'm also just not even next to an area that's been sprayed. So make sure where you're getting them from is clean. Cut as many leaves as you can because they shrink down so much. You pretty much super wash the dandelion leaves, chop them up into 1-inch squares. Then you're gonna put them in a giant pan. I use a wok. Put them in there, boil water separately, pour the boiled water over the leaves, and then turn the fire on, bring it back up to a boil, strain it out. Boil more water separate, pour it over the leaves, bring it back up to a boil, strain it out. This takes some of the bitterness out. If you're doing this in more of the height of summer, oops, I gotta check these buns. Okay, we're good. The buns are rising. If you're making marinated dandy leaves in the height of summer, they're gonna be much more bitter. So you might want to do that process 3 or 4 times. Yes, this is inherently gonna pull out some of the vitamins and nutrients from the leaves, but you can tell. Literally, your body can tell. You still respond to it. There is still so much more. If you want to be a grade A student, yeah, maybe just steam the leaves. I've never done that. Maybe you can drink the water instead of straining it out. I would say feed the water to plants if you don't want to drink dandelion green water. Personal preference, but we have a lot of options here as always in life. Okay, your greens are sauteed or they're steamed or whatever, wilted. Chop up a ton of garlic. I use a whole head of garlic because, I'm Jewish, I'm Greek, I'm Italian. What's the point? If we're not going hard, what's the point? Chop up as much garlic as you want. Get an oil of your choice. Saute that garlic. Then pour that oil over the greens. And again, you're making it marinated greens, okay? Use a lot of sauce. Use a lot of oil. It's gonna soak in overnight. It's okay if there's some at the bottom of the bowl, okay? Bunch of oil, saute it. Once it's nice and fragrant, pour that over the greens. And then I don't use recipes, okay? So if you're looking for recipes, go somewhere else. Do it to taste. I made this batch the other day. I needed to add more tamari and more vinegar the next day. So anyways, that's a little foresight. Garlic in the oil, mix it all in. Tamari or soy sauce, coconut aminos, whatever you like to use for that kind of department, and vinegar. Mix it all up, let it sit. You can eat it right away. It's always way better the next day because it's marinated. So do what you want in terms of timing. This is something that everyone that tries it, it's amazing. Your body is for all of the minerals, the nutrients, the vitamins. You will wake up going, oh my God, I need more of that. I have students email me or reach out every year. What's that dandelion recipe again? I always know what they're talking about because your body responds. Your body knows what it needs, what it wants, what it craves. We want to listen to that. Okay. Dandelion Italiano. That's my favorite now. What's next? Nettles. Nettles. sweet, sweet nettles. Depending on where you live, you might have wild nettles abound. You'll know if you've ever walked in the woods and gotten stung and felt a little electrocution. If your hands are itchy afterwards, right? I grow them in my garden. They do grow in Colorado, but it's pretty rare that I've seen them. Pacific Northwest, East Coast, Europe, super abundant, okay? Oh God, I love nettles. The things that I've made this year, and again, so many recipes. The things I've made this year are, and just like dandelions, nettles are a multivitamin on their own. It's amazing. You can put it in a vinegar, use the vinegar as a multivitamin. Again, it's so much more fun to eat the food. If you don't want nettles to sting you, either blend it up or wilt it, okay? Put it in a blender, make a pesto. A lot of people wilt it before they put it into a pesto. I actually do like doing that. However, I've made nettle pesto for years with the leaves without blanching it first. But you need to make sure it's like actually blended enough, because if there are like chunks of leaves, yeah, that can get you. So nettle juice is the first thing I always make. It's great for people with allergies. It will be a total game changer if you have seasonal allergies. How do I juice it? Not with a juicer, y'all. Water and the whole stems and leaves of the nettles, like whatever size the stalk is that you're able to grab to harvest. Put them in the blender with water, blend it up, strain the pulp out, unless you want a nettle smoothie, but that's not my favorite way to have it. Strain it out, drink it. I like to add lemon. I will add honey or maple syrup and turn it into lemonade. That can then be turned into popsicles. That's what my daughter loves, the lemonade and the popsicles. It's always fun when it's like a different color. Green, ooh, you know. Nettle juice, that's like number one. I do the same thing with cleavers. If you have cleavers in your area, cleavers are a great lymph booster, lymph mover. This year we combined the nettles and cleavers in a juice. It's really, really, okay, I'm back. Oh, this is tiring, you guys. Being alive, growing a baby. Okay, nettle juice we talked about. Turned it into popsicles, turned it into lemonade. The other thing I just made today was nettle soup. Again, we're not really doing recipes here, but chop up an onion, chop up garlic, have some broth. We usually do veggie broth for this, even though we're major meat eaters. It's just something about it just feels right with the nettle soup. Saute garlic, saute onion, pour your stock over it, bring it to a boil. Chop up a bunch of potatoes, get the potatoes in there and cooked. I load it up with everything. It is like full of potatoes and then...
Sorry.
It's okay. Full of potatoes, full of nettles. For this, I cut the nettle leaves off of the stem. Put as many in there as you can. The potatoes make it really silky smooth. The nettles make it nutritious and green. Cook the potatoes. Then once those are cooked, get all those nettle leaves in there. Again, stuff as many as you can in there. Let them wilt. That will take away the sting. And then season it. You can either season it now, but I season it after I blend it. So I usually turn it off, let it cool, and then blend it either with an immersion blender or in an actual blender. I've never had much success with an immersion blender because it always makes a mess. So this year I did it in my Vitamix. Once that's all blended up, like super silky smooth, blend it a lot. It's worth it. Put it back in the pot and then season it up. I always just season it with salt. I use nettle salt, of course. Herbal salt always makes it better. And paprika and black pepper. Fat. We use butter this year because it wasn't for a class. If I do it for a class, I'll usually keep it vegan, use coconut oil. Butter. yeah, that's it. There's already garlic in there. There's already onion. Keep it simple, delicious. Serve with bread, serve with anything. I think now I'm talking about it, I'm like, I want some now. So I might have some there. Let's talk about nettle salt. Cut the leaves off the nettles. Blend it up with salt. A lot of nettles. Dry it out. Nettle salt. What could be simpler? What could be nicer? So easy. Those are what I got for you for nettles right now. You can sub nettles for any sauteed vegetable. Like I've made spanakopita before, and instead of sauteed spinach, I'll do nettles. That was really badass. That was long process, but it felt really good. And I love nettle pesto. Find any recipe that you like, sub nettles in with it. Again, you can blanch them first or not. Okay, that's all for that. We talked about violets. We talked about nettles. We talked a little bit about dandelions. Is there anyone else I was going to talk about today? I think that's it for now. I'm feeling tired. I think I need a little snack. I'm going to check on these buns. Please let me know if you have any questions. I love just ranting like this. I love that y'all are witnessing the belly out. It's such a weird thing. I felt so like self-conscious of having the belly out, like around the neighborhood, even my old neighborhood. Now I'm in a new neighborhood, and I was just like, what happens if I just choose to like not care? Like, it feels like having a pregnant belly out feels like having your tits out, which is fucking weird. It's, even if you want to have your tits out, like, I understand why that's more of a thing in our culture, but interesting. So thanks for being with me and the belly. Baby's gonna come any day now. Can't wait. Comment below with any questions. Comment below with your baking advice for me. Like, what's going on with these buns? Are they gonna rise? I have literally no idea what I'm doing. Also, the active yeast that I used was like expired 2 years ago. So we'll see. Maybe we'll be running to the store for buns for our burgers today. Okay, that's all I got. I love you guys. That was fun. Ask questions. I'll send recipes. I'll respond. I don't care. Love y'all. Thanks. Bye.